Hello, welcome to Ekidel. My name is Justice Mwaka. I am your instructor. Today, we will be learning how to model or create a steel staircase platform using protastructure. So, by the end of today's lesson, you will be able to model or create a steel staircase platform for a steel or concrete building just like this. So, our business for today is just to create the steel staircase platform just like this, and not this steel building. So by the end of today's lesson, you will be able to create a steel staircase platform that just like this, which I just highlighted. And also in my coming video, I will show you how to model this kind of steel building. Looking at this steel building, you can see that this steel building consists also of concrete members, which the concrete members has an opening for window and also have an opening for walls, and also at the upper floor here it also has an opening for vents. So in my coming video, I will show you how to model, analyze and design a steel building just like this. Okay, just not to miss this video or not to miss my my coming videos, I will urge you to subscribe and also share my videos to your friends, so that also they will know how to create a steel building and also know how to model concrete and steel building in protastructure. Okay, let's get started for our lesson for today, which is to create a steel staircase platform in protastructure. Okay, let's get started. To start doing that, we go back to our plan view. Now we have to delete this staircase platform which we have already here. So we delete this. We have to delete this right now. Right click and say delete. We will say axis no, and then we'll say OK. And then we will also have to delete this staircase width distance. So we delete that also. Okay, I think it's already on the upper floor, so we go to the second floor too. So the members associated to that grid line. Then we right click and say delete. Then we can now delete this grid line now peacefully. Then we also go to the first floor and also delete. Okay, it's already off. So looking at our 3D right now, this is what we have. So we can now begin to create our steel staircase platform that will have an access to this door right here. To do that right now, I'll go back to my story 1 plan view. Then now the first thing to do right now, just to give you a look of what we are doing, I have already made a screenshot of what we are about to do, which is the steel staircase platform. So the first thing we'll do is to offset this our staircase width, which is 1500. So we have to offset the width of our staircase. So we'll go back to protastructure and then click on this grid line on story 01 on story 1. Right click and then offset. So we want to offset. So to offset, I'll use Shift F2. Then I'll click minus 1500 millimeter and click enter. So now I'll click on escape. So right now you can now see that we have our offset, which is also here. So we have gotten our offset, which is here too. The next thing to do right now is to insert this column, these two columns, and also insert our beams. So let's insert our column first. So back to protastructure and then our steel columns. This steel column is HEB 200. So we go back to our protastructure and then click on our steel column. Go to our HEB. We are going to use European norm, which is our eurocode. So click on eurocode, go to HEB and then click on 200, select and then say OK. Let's check if there's any drop. We make every drop to be 0. Then go back to this and then click to insert the column, and also we have the column here also. We click here to insert the column. look at on our 3D view to see what we have got. So this is what we have now gotten. Going back to our sample here, we have gotten this. Right now to do is to insert these beams, and these beams is HEB 160. So we go back to our protastructure, go back to our plan view, still on story 1, and then click on our steel beams here. Go to the material properties, click on the code, which is European norm, but you can choose any other code like American code if depending on what you want to design for. Then we'll click on HEB and click on 160, which is the size that we want to use, and then click on OK, and then we'll check if there's any drop. No dropped. Okay, then we'll go. We have a beam surrounding like this, and also have a beam on this area and this area. Let's check our sample and see. So this is the beam that we want to create right now. We want to create this beam. So we go back to Prota and then click on this beam. Okay, now the next beam we'll create right now is to create this beam right now, this beam. Then we'll go back to Prota and then go again, click here. Then the next beam we'll click is to create here. Let's check our sample and see. Now we want to create this beam here, this particular beam, which is here, this beam. So next thing we'll go back to our Prota and then click on this. Then we'll click on escape and then go and check on our 3D views. Okay, now you can see what we now have right now, which is also on our sample, as you can see it right here. The next thing we'll have right now is to input our slab. This is a slab which serves as a staircase landing. So we go back to our protastructure and then go back to our plan view and then scroll up, then click on our concrete slab. We are using concrete slab on that area, so click on concrete slab. The thickness of that slab is 150 millimeter. So then the concrete cover is 20. Then we click on loads. The load right now, the dead load here is 1.25. Those loads, since it's an office, and just say 1.5. Staircase is just as click on this panel and then click on 3D view to see what we have got. See what we have just created right now. Checking out on our sample also, you can see how fast we have gone. We have created this platform right. We have created this platform right now. The next thing we'll do right now is to create these rails. Okay, no, the next thing we'll do is to create this rail, down rail. Now going back to our protastructure and going back to our plan view. Okay, just looking at our sample again, let's see what to create next. Okay, the next thing we're going to create right now is to create this steel column here, and this is a circular column which has a diameter of 177.8. so we go back to our protastructure, click on our steel column, but this time, since it's a circular column, we click on our material to change the kind of column that we have, and we click on tube. This tube simply means pipe. You can see American code here. American code spell it as pipe, but here on eurocode is saying tube. So we click on our diameter, which is 177.8, and a thickness of 10. So click on 10 thickness and then we'll click on select and then OK. Then we have to check first for if there's any dropping. No dropping. Then we'll click on our insert here and then we'll click on escape and then we click on 3D views. Now looking at this right now, you can see what we just created, but looking at our sample right here, you can see that this column is not the same level with this level. There is a drop down of -700. So we go back to our protastructure. You can see that there is a drop down from our sample. So we go back. We can work on this 3D view here. We'll click on this, right click and say properties, and then we'll click on this 3D. On this stuff, we say minus 700. Then we click on update. You can see what we just created right now. You can see that right now. Then we click on okay. Then the next thing right now to do right now is to create this angular ray here, this inclined ray. So we go back to our plan view on our protastructure and then click on plan view and then zoom up, and that angular ray is at the diameter of a diameter of 114.3. So we click on our beam. We're going to use beam for that one, and then click to change our material properties, and then okay, so then we click on to change the type of column and of beam, which is 2 pipe, and the size of this is 114 at so, and then we now choose our thickness 8, and then we click on select, and then we click on OK. Then we're gonna click to insert this. You can see from our model right here that this insertion starts from this column down to this column. So we go back to our plan and then click here and then insert it on this level. Then we now click on escape. Then click on our 3D view to see what we just created. Now you can see what we have just created, and if you go back to our model right now, you can see that that's not the same thing we have. At this place, there is a drop down to this pipe here. So and this drop down is minus 1800 millimeter. So we go back to our plan view, click on this, then right click and say properties, then go to our 3D view, and that is on our J. So we click minus 1800 and then click on update. You cannot see what, and then click on escape, yeah. So you cannot see what we have just created right now. Then click on escape. Okay, then the next thing right now to do right now is to create the next level from our model right here. So let's see our model. The next thing we'll do right now is to create these columns, these 2 columns here. So to do that right now, go back to our protastructure, then we now go back to our plan view, but this time we are going to work on the second story. So go back to our second story, then going back to our model, you can see, let's click on this face of this model. So we are doing this and this, and the size of this is 114.3. So we click on this diameter 114.3 and go back to our Prota and then click on our column. Then click on our material to change to pipe, and then we click on 114. Then we now click on our diameter 8, then click on select this and then OK. Then we now insert this. Now going back to escape, then to check our 3D view what we have just created right now. You can see what we have just created. What we just created right now is not the same with what we have here. There is a drop down from this top down here. So we go back to our protastructure to create that drop down. So we click on this, right click and say properties. So we allow it to load up. Then we now go to our 3D view here and click on our drop down here. This drop down is minus 2000. So click on minus 2000. And then click on properties. So you can now see what we have. I think there is a 2 columns already inserted here, so we just click to remove. Okay, so we will also do the same thing for this one. So we will also need to insert this steel column, which is the pipe, on this other way too, just as we have it here on our plan, on our model here. So we go back to protastructure and then click back on our plan view. which we will need to insert this same column on this grid line too. So we go back to our steel column and check if we have the same properties. Okay, we have the same properties, 114.3 and a thickness of 8. Then we'll click on select and then OK, and then we'll click to insert, and then we escape and click on our 3D view to see if that is what we have got. Okay, so you can now see that this is what we have got already right now. So we have successfully created these two steel columns, and then we go back to our model to see what we have just created. Okay, so we have created this and then this. The next thing right now to create right now is to create this beam rail. So we go back to our protastructure and then go back to our plan view, still on story 2, and then we zoom out and then we click on steel beams, and we have to change the properties. So okay, we click, and then this steel beam diameter here, this steel beam diameter, let me go back to this so I can see it well. This steel beam diameter is 114.3 and a thickness of 8. So we go back to protastructure and then click on the diameter, and then click and diameter of 8, then we'll click on OK, and then let's check if there's any drop. Okay, click on OK, and if there's any drop, there is no drop on this one, so we'll click on 0 first. We click on this and this to insert that. Then we click on our 3D view to see what we have got. Then you can now see what we have right now. This is where it is being inserted, but let's see if that is what we have on our model. Exactly, no, we do not have it here on our have it in the model. This is where we have it. So you can see that there is a drop down from this level where it is down to this level, and that drop down is minus 2000 millimeter. So we go and then click on this, right click and then say properties, and then we click on 3D and say minus 2000 millimeter. The same thing on J, because the two will have to be the same to get that shape. So we click on update and you can see what we now have just got right now. Okay, then we click on the escape and then click back on our model to see what you have got. So we have gotten this. Now the same thing happens to this one here. Let me just show you on the other direction. So we have created this, and the next thing we'll do is to create this, which have the same property with this and at the same level. So we just go back to our protastructure and then back on our plan view and zoom out, click back on steel beams, and just click to insert, click this, and then we'll click this, and then we'll click on escape, and then let's check on our 3D view to see what we have just got. So you can now see what we have gotten right now. We have gotten this, and you can see the connection. We have gotten this and we have gotten this. So we have successfully achieved this stage on our model. You can see what we have just achieved. The next thing right now we'll do is to create this inclined steel rail. So we go back on to our protastructure and then click back on our 3D view and then plan, and then on this area right now we click on steel beams and then we click. They have the same diameter, which is 114.3 at thickness of 8. So we click OK and click this, and then we just click and then click on this level and escape. So let's see what we have just got on our 3D view. We click on this. Now you can see what we have got, which is never and not the same with, you can see what we have got here, which is this, and it is not the same with what we have here. With what we have here, you can see that there is a drop down from this level down to this place, and from this level down to this place. So we will have to impute that that updates right in our protastructure. So we click on this beam to impute that drop down, and then properties, we click, then I click and say properties, and that drop down is minus 2000 on the I direction and minus 3700 on J direction. So this is minus 2000 on this I direction and then we click on update, then close. Now you can now see what we have. Let's go back to our model to see if we have successfully achieved what we have. So you can now see that we have successfully achieved to create this staircase steel platform. The next thing right now to do is to create this concrete base here. So we go back to, let me show you again. To create this concrete base right now is what we're about to do. So we go back to our protastructure and you can see what we have just created. Then the next thing to do is to create that concrete base for this. So we go back to story 1 first, click on story 1, then click on plan view, and then zoom out, and then click on our concrete column. That concrete column has a size of 300 by 300. What we have just got on looking at our 3D view. So we click and then we see. Now looking at this now, you can see what we have got, which is not the same with our model right here. There is a drop down from this point to this point, and that drop down, let's see what that drop down will look like. So we go back to impute that drop down, and that drop down is minus 3000. So we click on this, right click, and then we say properties, and then we click on 3D, and then click at the top and say minus 3000. 3000. How to create our steel staircase platform. You can see how we created this steel staircase platform right from the beginning. Let me off the grid to see it more clearer. So you can see how we just created this staircase platform right from the beginning down. How to model and create a steel staircase platform here in protastructure. The next thing right now to do is to design and also do our steel connections for this, but that will be on our next video. So on the next video, which we are going to upload, we will going to do how to connect these steel members together, either to use by welding or by bolting. So that will be on our next video. So I'll urge you to subscribe to our channel Ekidel, so that you will not miss our next video. Also share this video with your friends if you're a student. Also share with your friends if you're also working. Share with your colleagues so that they will also know how to use steel, how to model with steel in protastructure. So this is how to create a steel staircase platform. In our next video also, we will run the design and also the analysis for this steel staircase platform to see if the size that we have chose for this is perfectly okay. So, and also we will also put the thread and the risers on our next video. So I'll urge you to subscribe so that you don't miss the next video. Thank you while we are waiting for the next video.